this is the most surprising benefit of cannabis I've ever heard of. As I've stated before, I used to be a dispensary agent at a cannabis dispensary. At least in Illinois, when you get the prescription from the state that you can use cannabis, the dispensary doesn't get to know like what your diagnosis is. So it really is up to the patient if they want to disclose or not. But many of them are just really letting us know what they want to manage. So I was working with a patient who came there through the opioid alternative program. So he was being prescribed opioids and he wanted to try cannabis in order to manage and wean himself off of opiates. Of course, this was through his physician and their license, and they signed and said that this would be something that'll benefit him. He was shorter in stature and he was obese. He was probably over like 300 pounds or so, probably close to 4, at least maybe 350. And, he would come in, we would engage. He wanted to try flower. He wanted to manage his pain. And that's how we were working together. Months later, I noticed he's lost a lot of weight. His pants are falling off of him, because I guess at that size, he wasn't really finding that many clothes that fit him. So he was wearing, a lot of the same clothes. Those clothes were falling off of him. So again, we don't really know people's diagnosis, so you kind of have to, play around with it. You don't say, hey, you're losing weight, and they can't really help that. So we got into the conversation of how things are going with him, and how were the products working. And he says, you know what? Well, I told him, he was looking great. He says, you know what? I can take a shit. This man was so constipated and backed up from using opioids that using a natural product like cannabis, he was able to use the bathroom. So just that benefit alone was so beneficial for his health. Not only was he managing his pain, he was able to use the bathroom freely without being blocked up. So that is the most surprising benefit of cannabis that I've ever heard of. Has there been anything that you've been so surprised and you're like, wow, I didn't even realize that was a benefit? Let me know.